Hello, my name is Sabrina Moreland, and I'm one of the librarians at Walters State. I'm embedded in this class, and I have created some videos for you to help with your upcoming paper in modern American literature. And so I know that you will be comparing and contrasting two short stories or two poems from different time periods. And so hopefully this first video will explain some basics of research and get you started on that. And I've also developed a few more videos that will be helpful in searching specific databases. So we will get started. If you have not chosen your topics yet, one of the things you can do to get started is ask these journalistic questions. So maybe in English 1010 you thought about different aspects of the conflict or problem. Maybe you thought about how does this impact the world or who's involved. You can apply these same very brief questions to poetry, to short stories, to novels, anything really in the realm of literature. So you could be focusing on the narrator or character for poems. You could ask, what's the theme, which should be what you're really focusing on in your literary criticism. When does something take place in the story or plot? So lots of good questions to ask to narrow your topic down a little bit. The figurative language area here usually applies to how does the author or poet convey the message. And so maybe through symbolism or the use of metaphors or imagery and so forth. So just lots of things you can think about using pretty basic questions. Since you will be looking for a specific type of source in the databases, literary criticism, you can also think about the type of literary criticism you're looking for. And so on the right under types, these are just some common examples. So maybe taking a psychoanalytic approach to a short story or a couple short stories and looking at the psychology, of course, behind that. Historically viewing how that time period might have impacted the writing and what's sort of going on in that poem or poetry or short stories. A feminist approach. So just thinking about that type as a term, of course, you could add to your searches. And then the different time periods, genres, and movements also could be helpful when doing this type of research. So if you're looking at a certain time frame, you could type in 19th century. If you're looking at the Romanticism movement, how is that evident in the short stories or poems you're examining? Is it short fiction? Is it poetry? So these are just very broad terms that you can add to those searches, which you'll be seeing in the videos to come. So those are just some things to be aware of. The good news about this type of research, and hopefully you've experienced this in English 1020, is you only have 3 access points essentially. And 2 of them have been predefined. So there's none of that breaking down all these different subjects. So we have our author and we have our title or titles always. So for an example, if I was looking at poetry by Gwendolyn Brooks, I would search for her and see what's out there in those databases. I could also either enter The Bean Eaters or We Real Cool, 2 of her poems, and search for content on that. I could combine the author and the title, and then I would need to add that third element. So this is the theme, the character you're examining, the symbol, whatever it is you're researching. That's that third element. So I do think this type of research is easier in a sense than perhaps what you encountered in a Communications 2025 class or even English 1010. I always choose some examples for my searches that hopefully a student has not chosen. I don't want to give anybody an advantage. So my examples would be comparing and contrasting Charlotte Perkins Gilman's short story, The Yellow Wallpaper, to Susan Glaspell's play, Trifles, which is based on her short story, A Jury of Her Peers. And I would be taking a feminism or feminist approach, I might think of such terms as patriarchy or marriage or motherhood or gender roles, even in examining the theme or the concept that's sort of common among these. So you will see me searching for these terms in the database videos that are posted as well. So that's just another way of breaking down and thinking about how to use two different writers or poets and their works. These are the databases that we recommend for literary criticism. Literature Resource Center, you've probably used. JSTOR, very good for finding criticism. And then the eBook Academic Collection is really a superstar database that I probably talk about in every single class that I visit or provide information to. Under the EBSCOhost database, I also say you could try using Master File Premier or Master File Reference, and I will show you also in a video how to access all the databases. Of course, you have to cite where your information comes from, and I know you've been told again and again how to do that. So we have some citation guides if that's not your strong suit, or of course we don't have all of that information memorized. So we do have library guides on our homepage under citing sources. The Purdue OWL site is also excellent, very extensive information on MLA, or there's the good old-fashioned handbook that you can purchase or rent or even check out from the library for a period of time. Another option is to ask me. You can ask a librarian, and that's one of the things we do is walk students through the process of citations for works cited entries and for your in-text and parenthetical citations. If you do need assistance, contacting a librarian is very easy. We just ask that you provide us with a little bit of information to get us going. So your name, the name of your class and instructor, and a little bit about your assignment is really helpful. A lot of times students will just email us and say, hey, I'm writing a paper, can you help me find sources? And of course we want to help with that, but it's hard if we don't have those details. And then if you could also explain the types of sources you needed or need, you know, do you need help with citations? Do you need help with search terms? Have you already tried certain things? Very helpful to get us going. So we want to get to you as quickly as we can and to start helping you because we know there's often limits on your assignments for time. So thank you very much for this listening to this introductory video on research and the basics for doing this upcoming assignment. Again, it should be not anything new as far as you know, narrowing your topic and accessing databases, but here is my full contact information, my email address, and again, I am embedded in your eLearn class list as SR Moreland as a research coach. You just click on my name and email me that way. It's a fast way to get that done. And then my office number is listed as well. I'm often not in my office because I'm teaching or doing other things, but lots of ways for us to communicate if you need assistance. So thank you very much and stay tuned for the database videos.